Sorry, you might not be able to see me. I can never sit down. So I'm going to stand up and you might just see the back of me. But hello and welcome. We're getting everyone's names on the list so that we know who was at the meeting as well for this. All right. Okay. Hello. Hi. So there's your like, what is she talking about? And that's totally fine. And that is okay. Because there's a lot of information and doing this for 18 years, I would say. Sometimes I forget, I take for granted that some of us have no idea or have never even been in a competitive studio or have been part of that. So a lot of it can be new. Something that we are going to do this season, a little different from last season and realistically from the new parents coming in, and I know that it will be a lot of information. I want to pair a new parent with a veteran parent by the end of August so that I'm assuming like Stephanie, it would have been nice probably to have individual guidance because I know sometimes you guys feel bad for contacting me and sometimes I'm so busy and we still want to get back to you and by that time you've already gotten your question answered. So I do want to pair new parents with veteran parents so that you feel like you can get answers right away and get it from another parent at that time. Something else that we're going to do in August is do a company and greet. A lot of times like the process starts, so my new people from last year kind of tested it. Everything gets started, but still nobody knows anybody. And so in order to help kind of be one, be able to form team united and I want to do a meet and greet with the parents and with the kids. Yes. Oh, probably because the fans, oh God, probably just stop. Because of this, sorry, I'll go really fast. Sorry, can you guys turn that off for me? Okay, can you guys hear me now? Okay, so company meet and greets. So I'll be asking for some parental help with that as well. Casey was trying to find a location for us. That didn't work out, so we're gonna try to find a different location. But to basically make it kind of just like a party to where everybody can meet each other. And by the time you leave, you feel like you've already been here for, however long amount of time. And you don't have to wait to the first competition to be like, oh, we saw people that might be with. So those are a couple new things, and then I'll go through more new things as well. For my new parents, I will sit here for as long as you need me to afterwards. I do have veteran parents that it's their 10, 11, 12 meeting. Most of it is the same every year, but I still like to see everybody's faces. And also, like if you guys see a new parent, you guys can chime in and give them any advice or anything that you want, or new parents from last year that see new parents this year. Just anything to help say, okay, this is how it was last year in the beginning, and what is your advice? You know what I'm saying? And how long did it take to get acclimated to things as well? So I'm just gonna go through this really quick and then just let me know if you guys have any questions. The company commitment starts when you guys fill out your contract and sign your contract, and it goes through July, so all year. I'm gonna go through the schedule. There are gonna be some changes to the way that we do things this year that is important for you guys to know as well. So every competition has a competition fee, right? So however many teams your child is on, it's not like a college dance team where it's like, oh, we're just on this one team. It's usually more than one team. It can be anywhere from 2 teams to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 25 teams. Our seniors do a little less this year than normal, but it just depends on how many teams your child is put on. And if they're younger, I don't want to scare the 4- and 5-year-old, 6-year-old parents that are new. They can kind of be into that as well. So please, when you see each other, don't be super freaked out about it until they're about 9, 8. So competition fees range anywhere from 55 to 70. I really, this year, you guys, I have not found the nationals yet. We went to Showstopper, and we love Showstopper, but those prices were astronomical for national. So I'm currently, there is not a national in here. I think this is the year to take for try something new, and then decide, hey, if we love it, cool. If we like it but don't love it, we can Showstopper every other year. Maybe it's that type of a situation. So I'm looking at doing a different national, and I'll talk about that as well in a minute. Tuition is automatically withdrawn. If you guys, most of you have already been in the studio, so you know that. It's automatically withdrawn every month. So just letting you know that, and all of that is listed on the website as well. Class attendance, you know, we don't, if everybody misses for their birthday, you guys, nobody would have a full class. I do think that things got a little more immediate kind of after COVID, with parents, with anywhere, you know, what they're doing. So sometimes people are missing a lot more than they should be. So I just want to make sure that, you know, you guys are paying a lot of money. You guys are committed to this. So let's just make sure that our kids are in class, and the only way for them to get better is that consistency. Our high school dancers, I work with the high school coaches. I have Megan on here as well. I'm so excited. Megan is the coach for MD, and we have always worked really, really closely together. I know when they go to their nationals, I'll ask her, hey, can these kids get here by this time on this day? And she might say, you know what, they really can't, but after this date, they can. So for the high schoolers, we try to work around their high school dance schedules, which I think is why we have so many high schoolers, because we want to work around it. It doesn't need to be a battle for these kids. We do not want them driving and racing from school to get here. Safety needs to come first for that. So I will continue to work hand in hand with the coaches, and we will make it happen for them and make sure that they're safe as well. Things come up, you guys, we get that, right? So communication is key in regards to that. We have an absent email at the studio. It's absent@marietadanceproject.com. And when your child, if you have an advanced absence, if you email that, we get that put on a master calendar. And then we just always ask for reminders after the fact. So it helps us to keep up on things. The teachers are part of that calendar. They can look at it. I'm probably the worst one. I'll text someone like, where is so-and-so? And then I look at the calendar, I'm like, just kidding. But for the most part, it just makes it so that you're doing your part, and we can inform the teachers when you guys, if your child's not going to be here for whatever reason. Let's see. So if somebody isn't here frequently, like there have been times, I don't think it was a super problem this last year, but there have been times when people just weren't here for like days at a time. No call, no show, week before a competition, not here. If we cannot ensure that your kids are safe by doing the training that they need, then they can't go on stage. So what happens first is if they have a solo, we'll pull that first, and we have done that before, and then it kind of goes from there. So just, you know, communicate with us. That's definitely the most important thing. The week before competition, attendance is mandatory. Now, that's not to say if something happens and there's a death in the family, there's an emergency, of course, that needs to take precedence. But once again, communicate with us and we'll make it work as best we can. Let's see, company commitment. We didn't really have to, I always put this in here just because back in the day, like 10 years ago, we had somebody who quit team right in the middle of the season, and we needed to replace that person because she was a certain age, and without that age on the team, the average age changed, and then the kids couldn't compete in the division they were supposed to at competition. So then we had to pull somebody else in, but that person not only wouldn't lend out their costumes, we also had to restage all of the dances, and then we had to pay for the competition fees. So it's basically just covering us and covering the kids to where if something happens, there is a cap on it. It doesn't exceed $100. We just need to borrow their costume if somebody gets injured. And for example, one of my graduating seniors from last year got injured right before a competition. We restaged everything. Mia, one of our now senior dancers, she stepped in on a team for her. So she still needed to pay that competition fee, but I held the competition. They credited the rest. I held on to the credit because I know we're going to go there again, and then I refunded for the rest of it. So, so just know if your child does get injured, there's ways around everything, and we'll be able to get your funds back. Or if your child is here next year, then it will get credited and everything is good to go. So just read through that. If your child books a job, like some people might have agents, and if it is a huge job, like most of the kids here, if we've made it work, again, we've been around for, this is now going into our 18th year. So really the studio needs to be the commitment because you're part of a team. Now, if a child books a movie and is going to be making all this money, and this, like, that is sometimes a once in a lifetime opportunity, there is no way I'm going to say no. Like, they're going to go, they're going to do it. Something that I know that my veteran parents can attest to is that our kids are amazing, and they will step up, somebody will step in, and they will make it happen as well. So just know that just because if they are working, that doesn't mean it's the end of the line for your child. Okay. Now, there have been one of my most favorite children who I love to support, who I still talk to, named Artyom Selfine. And he was a showbiz kid, and he was going on all these auditions, and he was booking everything. And as much as it hurt my soul, because he is like a son to me, and he still is, I told his mom, it's time for him to just do that. Like, he needs to just be working. And he did. And he did it when he should have done it, because sometimes people should do it when they're younger, and sometimes people should do it when they're older. Yes. How do you see that, Trisha? Oh. So, yeah. So just communicate with me. But if your child ends up being a biz kid, then, you know, we may have a conversation and say, okay, everything's going to be okay, but they should really take this route because of all these opportunities that are coming their way. But it's a conversation that can be had for sure. Okay, so moving past that, again, you guys can read through all of this. Teamwork and studio support, they need to take all of their classes at Marriott Advanced Classes. It would be really weird, right, if they went across the street and took another studio, which people have done, not here, but people have been competing at other studios and coming to compete here, where I'm like, well, that's weird, why don't you dance him? So clearly, if we're not enough, then the kids shouldn't be competing here, right? Company class requirements. All of the dancers will get a list of required classes. You guys don't even have to worry about their schedule. Myself and Susan, I call it my HE double hockey stick week, which is next week. It's when I do the schedule. And then I cry and I say, I can't do this, it's impossible. And then Susan tells me, you've been doing this for 17 years and it's gonna get done. And then it does. And then I color code all of your children's schedules. There's optional classes, there's mandatory classes. So you have some wiggle room in some of those schedules. In addition, if there's something that is like sometimes kids have their communion class, I think those are usually like Wednesdays. We work around stuff, right? So I think that there's some people who are really there's a lot of church events, this or that or whatever. So if I know things in advance, then I'll try to work with it. Or we might just have a rehearsal and your kid's not there, and then they need to make sure that they know it the next time they come, that type of a thing. Competition etiquette and team spirit. This sometimes and always is a work in progress. So I always say, if you can make it through the minis, you can make it through anything. And it's because it is very hard when your kids are younger. They don't have that much of a sense of self yet. And then junior, it's trickled into that as well. By the time they're seniors, they don't care literally at all. And when I say seniors, I mean 15, 16, 17, 18. Those are considered senior dancers. And honestly, pretty much by the time they're teens as well, they kind of don't care anymore. But the mini time is the hardest time as far as drama is concerned, as far as gossip is concerned. Anytime if you get this many women into one place, no matter what, there are amazing and also terrible things that are bound to happen. And it's how you deal with yourself and deal with somebody else that really dictates the relationship that you're going to have here at the studio. And something I always say is, if that person isn't somebody who you would call to hang out with on a Saturday night, then don't expect them to be your friend anyway. So we should be cordial, and we should show kids how to act by the way that we act. That's my time when I say that Monique, raise your hand, Monique, has been here for, this is now 18 years. For one of her daughters, Alana, who danced here, just graduated from college, and Villa is now 9 years old. So it is doable. She's been here, so it is doable. But you know, I'll have to say, and I say it every year, and there's still drama that happens. We're adults, you guys. Like, not everybody has to like me. I don't have to like everybody. I make mistakes, things come out of my mouth, but we can say I'm sorry, or we can let it lie. But it is how we deal with it and what we take from that moment that is going to allow longevity for your kids. Because being a studio hopper isn't really a great thing for kids either. With that said, not every studio is for every person. You may be here for your first year or second year, you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, and that's fine. If you've been here for a decent 5, 6, 7, 8 years and it's going, don't let somebody or something ruin that for your child. So have a conversation. If it's something that I do, come and talk to me. If it's something that another parent does, don't talk to another parent about it, just go talk to that parent. Not in the hallway, not in the parking lot. Be an adult, take it out of the studio, and don't do it in front of your kids. Because the kids can still have a very successful relationship with you not liking their parent. Doesn't mean they have to have sleepovers, right? So I just want to say that. And I say it every year, and things still happen. So I'm going to continue to say it, and maybe 1 year, it'll just be perfect. So perfect. Okay. Costumes and makeup. So every year, now keeping in mind. Am I on schedule? Did I skip things? But I'm not there in my packet. I was talking about you guys. This is Trisha. She's very nice. I'm gonna go. I'm getting there. Okay. She really is. Trisha is one of the biggest team players ever, and I do love her. And she is abrasive, and I love that because so am I.
Don't listen to the volume.
Yes. Okay, so costumes and makeup. So I do need another costumer this year. So if any parents make costumes, let me know. I do have one of my alumni moms who's gonna assist me in costumes this year because a lot of times it takes me a long time to get things out. Sam is gonna do hip hop costumes. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, you're doing it. You're not getting out of it. You're doing it. So you guys are gonna get your hip hop costumes before December. You know why? Because Jacoby always, I will throw it. He always gives me full pictures with exactly how he wants things to look in October when it's due. And because it's store-bought, I know that I can wait longer because I need to get these custom costumes out so that I don't have to drive to our customers who live in 25,000 times, which I end up doing anyways. So after 17 years, season 18, look at me, 18 years later, old age has done it to me. Sam's gonna help with that. So I would actually love another parent to help me with the other store-bought costumes. That would be, and it could be more than one. So send me an email and we do a lot of store-bought costumes, you guys, and most of the time the teachers will find it, they'll give me a link. I can send it to the parents that are helping me. I'll give you the sizes, you guys can order it, put it in a cart, and then literally sit on the phone with me until I say it's done. Yep, done. I will even send them to your house and you guys can coordinate them, have the kids try them on. They don't fit, exchange it, do all of that. You guys, it takes hours and hours and hours. And all you want to do is just get this one team out, and then there's one person who it doesn't fit. And then all of a sudden, they don't have any more sizes. So the whole thing has to go back and you have to start over again. So having the help will help to alleviate and eliminate that because it'll happen faster. They'll get out faster. They'll get tried on fast. It'll be great. I'm gonna love that. For my littles, for my 5-year-old and 6-year-old, there will be some store-bought costumes this year. And as long as or catalog costumes, as long as we rhinestone the heck out of them, they will not look any different. I know Juice Box was a little big on some people that were teeny tiny, but it ended up looking really, really good with all of the rhinestones on it. AA costumes, we could never find anything that's under $200 from them. The Fanta costumes were some of my favorite costumes. So the thing is this, if Showtime Creations makes your child's costume, it's going to be $250 to $400, if not higher, when we put rhinestones on it. So expect to have expensive costumes and expect to have cheaper costumes to help offset it. This year, there were more Showtime creation costumes. I would love to offset it and get a little more creative, but I don't want it to look cheap on stage, right? It needs to still look amazing on stage. Hip hop costumes are usually under $150. Those are all store bought. Sam's gonna take care of all of it. It's gonna be amazing. Yes. Oh, and for our littles, I really think we should rhinestone their shoes here. What did they have? They had Nike. What did they have? What were the high tops? The Nike Blazers. Those were so cute. And then Amanda rhinestoned Sophia's, and it's the coolest thing ever. In addition, I'm gonna put somebody on helping with the shoes as well. You guys buy your own shoes, but Justin's mom works at corporate at Nike. And so if we could do a group order, we might be able to get like 50% off of Nike. Yeah, it could be amazing. Because Jacoby always wants the $150 ones. I'm like, I can't put that out there. I can't do it. But if we can get that discount, then that would be awesome. So I'm gonna have Justin check in on that. And then I would set a mom on getting all mom or dad getting all the sizes and then getting that to his mom to get that order done. And then we'll save money and then the kids have great shoes afterwards. Makeup. So we use the same makeup every year. We're doing it again this year. It's gonna be great. So your first year is always a little bit more expensive because of the makeup that you purchase, but you can save it for years to come, and it ends up being pretty easy. We are gonna do the makeup class, not last year, but the year before we did the makeup class. I believe it was in December. We're doing that again. We're doing it again. Because for me, just if some of you don't know, I travel all the time, and I don't think I was prepared for this year with all of the traveling. I helped direct a convention, plus a lot of our kids went to multiple conventions, plus we went to competitions, plus I do outside choreo, plus I have a 6-year-old that I have to be present for, because she's not always the nicest person. So when she's out of school at 2 o'clock on the days I'm not at the studio, my computer's not open and my phone is not on. I have to be present for her. So you guys, yes, sometimes there were a lot of emails at 4 o'clock in the morning because that is like literally, I look at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, I have to sleep for an hour, where do I put it at 6? But if I do things ahead of time, then that's gonna help to prepare me for being ahead of time and not getting stuck where I did last season. So there will be multiple makeup classes. Those will be done in December. I will literally send the makeup list out to you guys. When everybody gets their team placement, you guys are gonna get your makeup list of what it is. You have time to get it. What else do I wanna say about that? We will still have a parent meeting before the first competition, just so I can remind you of all the important things, but the makeup stuff will be done early, so you're not rushing to get your makeup stuff.
And Gina.
What?
And Gina.
Oh, and Gina, yes, safety meeting. I'm gonna talk about that too. Okay, mandatory national conference intensive camps and national rehearsals. Some of you guys are not gonna know what I'm talking about, and this is okay. And if your child is 4, 5, 6, 7, some 8-year-olds, this is not gonna pertain to you. Okay, and it's gonna be confusing right now, but once you get your team placement, you will know what your commitment level is in regards to the events that are going on. We do something called industry, where the kids travel and they do conventions, and when they're teen and seniors, for the most part, most of them, that's what they do, okay? But what we're doing now is what I used to do when Justin was a dancer at a student at the studio. We are choosing to select, like, these groups are going to convention, these groups are going to convention, and that's what it is. It's not necessarily going to be a totally separate entity. Number one, I think that creates a separation within the team itself. And then number two, then it's like these kids feel like they can't go to this convention because they're not part of this. And that's not what we're trying to do here. So there's only going to be one company fee total. There's not going to be any additional company fee on top of that. It's going to work out, and basically certain teams will go to convention and certain teams won't. All of the teams will go to 2 full company competitions together, and I got rid of 1 regional because to help offset certain things. So I know new parents are like, what is she talking about? Basically, the kids that aren't going to convention or aren't doing teams at convention, they're doing 3 regional competitions and a national competition. The kids that are going to conventions will do their 3 conventions and their 2 full studio comps together, and then we'll do our national. Now, the full studio comps, we may choose to not take some of the team to help offset the kids that are going to conventions. Those, are you with me? If your kids went to convention, okay. So the whole point is to make it affordable so that we are all one team and we can all do everything. If your child's teams are not selected to go to a convention, it's okay. They can still go and take it to the convention. And we are going to be one in that because some of these little ones really want to go. And then they didn't feel like they were allowed to go. And why they shouldn't feel like they're not allowed to train. That's weird, right? So that's what's happening with the industry stuff. So there will be 4 master classes. What a master class is when we bring in guests into the studio and the kids get to take from an outside choreographer, outside teacher, just to get additional training so that it can get monotonous sometimes when you're doing the same thing every single day. The goal last year for our teens and seniors was to inspire them because the year before was a little rough. And I really truly feel like them getting out of the studio every once in a while and new people coming in the studio kind of opened their eyes and their heart a little bit more, and it made them more inspired. So we are going to be bringing one person in every month for at least 4 times. So they're required, if their teams are going to convention, they're required to take one of those classes, just 4. Like, let's say we bring somebody out 7 times and we're going to try to pre-schedule it. Understand that when we pre-schedule, all of a sudden the person that we're bringing out just booked a huge job and they're doing the Grammys, and then all of a sudden they can't come in the day before. That does happen, but we try our best to bring in people that don't do that because that's a really big thing for me, especially when the kids are excited. So we'll be very selective on who we bring into the studio so that they can't be canceled. But this will be open to everybody, but it'll only be mandatory for the teams that go to convention. So that'll be available for even our minis, and our minis didn't have that opportunity last year. So they will have that this year. We hold an intensive every year, the week after our recitals, which we call a review. That's mandatory for everybody on company. So our little ones this year, they did, what's the little one called? Oh, we didn't do it. We did a Candyland camp, but we didn't have a ton of littles. So the younger kids, like the 3 to 5-year-olds, they did the Candyland camp. 6 to 9-year-olds, they did the glow up camp. And then the older kids did the intensive. It's all part of the same week, but we want to call it different things as to kind of like separate the training between the levels or the ages of the kids. But it is mandatory for everyone. Now, here's the deal. We normally do a national rehearsal. So we normally do our recital, we do our master classes, and then the studio's closed like over the 4th of July. And then we come back and we have national rehearsals, which is like 5 days of training. And then we go to nationals, and nationals were July 12th this year. The goal this next year is to go straight from the review to master classes to nationals. And then to be able to have time off during the summer, like we did, I think it was like 2 years ago, it was glorious. My husband's best friend lives in Holland. We were there for 3 weeks. I felt like a European. It was amazing. We had a holiday. But I do think, especially if we do that every other year, that'll give everybody kind of a little time to recoup, get back in it, and not have it be so broken up. We're still going to have classes over the month of July, but the kids aren't required to take those classes. Does that make sense? Okay. I still haven't found the nationals yet. I'm still looking. And like I said, the goal is to be done at least a week, if not 2 weeks earlier than we normally are in the summer. Competition attire. I am not doing custom stuff this year because the sweats that were half the price are just as cute, if not cute. So we are going to do, I'm doing, basically, if you guys look at the rack on your way out, I can only, number one, I can only trust things that are not custom made at this point. And then in regards to the travel gear, and I only trust my printers doing things on sweat material, like what is that, fleece? Because all the other stuff, it's not good enough. So it's not going to be custom. It'll be out sooner. It's probably going to be very similar to what's out there, but different colors. So, and all new dancers are required to buy a 3-piece set. I always say buy it bigger because you only need to buy it the first year. And as long as they can fit in it the second year, or you can switch with other people your second year and do that, swap it or buy a used set or whatever. So the only thing that people are required to buy is a t-shirt. Everybody has to buy a new t-shirt. And I want to work on parent shirts this year. You're not required to do that, but it would be awesome if parents they've got a shirt to, like, I really don't want you guys to, I don't know if we can talk about putting your kid's name on it or whatever, but we're going to talk about safety stuff in a little, and why not to put names on things. So we'll go past that, but 3-piece suit as well as a t-shirt. If you are a new parent, all veteran parents and campers would just order the t-shirt, but you're more than welcome to get the other stuff. And I want to make it affordable to where you feel like you can as well. So there is that. What'd you say? Oh, I know. We can get that. We can get that. But are you gonna be able to print on that? Because I don't trust my printer. Like nothing, anything that you've done has been fine. So be great. Love it. All right. Yeah. Okay, company mock competition. So what the mock competition is, it's a rehearsal day in the studio. It's super fun. There are tons of gifts and presents that we grow out for the kids. It's kind of a way for the team to get together and watch everybody else's teams. So just know that that's what that is. It's also all of the faculty. We critique each other's routines. So we have judges forums, just like you would if you're at competition. All of the teachers not only critique the dancers, but then we flip it over and we critique each other's choreography. Because so many times when we go to competition, you guys, we are not, like when I'm judging, we are not allowed to say on our judging critiques, choreographically, this child's technique doesn't support the movement that you are giving them, and they could get injured, which is what I want to say, but we're not allowed to say that. And I think that's wild because when I first started teaching 20-something years ago, the way I got better was the critiques I got from the critique tapes. And now we're not allowed to do that. So we go for it with each other. There have been full dances that have been from TV restaged or re-choreographed because we're like, absolutely not, this is not gonna work. It won't happen anymore because I make all the people send me the choreography. So, but we critique each other. It's a really fun weekend. And this last year was really awesome. And the kids were great and very supportive, and it was super fun. And what we did this last year was the boosters, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The boosters did t-shirts for everybody, which was amazing. And again, that made it so that everybody was even more united. It wasn't this group with this shirt and this group with this shirt, made them kind of all come together, which was great as well. Communication and social media, all of and I keep forgetting to change this now, second year in a row. It says all of the information will be located on the website. The only information that's located on the website is if you were a recreational dancer, not doing company. All of the information for company is going to be on our app, and it's a team app, and it explains in this packet how to get the team app. There will be a calendar, notifications. If you ever get something at midnight, it's because I didn't set the right time. And I don't actually send anything at midnight, so I go through and really check that, or I'm gonna have somebody else check it so it actually gets checked. But I can set reminders on there, and like I said, if I miss something and it comes out at midnight, my sincerest apologies, because even though I'm up, I did not send it. I promise you. But it's a great way to communicate. Something that I'm going to add this year is your kids are going to have extra rehearsals, right? I'm trying to, Faye, who runs our front desk, I'm trying to make sure that she, on a Saturday when she's with her family, that she doesn't feel the need to check her email to make sure that we're okay at the studio when we're doing extra rehearsals. So whenever there's extra rehearsals or anything studio related that's outside of studio hours, there will be a chat for that. So on the team app, so it'll say rehearsal chat, and someone could be like, hey, so-and-so's on their way, but this happened, so just know that this person's gonna be late. And because a lot of you, like Wendy, you emailed the opposite email, and it was whatever week I was in Vegas, right? You did what you were supposed to do, but nobody was checking it. So if we do stuff like that in the chat, then we'll be able to know. But there's some information you might not want people to know. So you can even say in the chat, hey, so I'm not there, please check email, right? And then you can email, and then we know to check that, and we're staying open for that communication. So just know that that is happening as well. Please don't post negative things about the studio or each other on social media. We're not to. We don't need to do that, you guys, or passive aggressive comments. I think that's just like the most ridiculous thing ever. I don't have social media. I don't do the social media at the studio. And I'm not ever on social media. So like I might have to be a little bit this year. I don't like it. I understand it's the way of the world now, but this is the one thing that's always going to age me because I'm never going to know what's happening. So if you have a concern, a comment, a question, or whatever, please make sure that you don't post it on social media. That has been done before. All right, let's see what else. Did I miss a page? I skipped so many things. Okay, one sec. Oh, solo. It's just because it's not on the right page. I'll read you the PDF for you guys. This is also in everybody's email. Dancers can do solos, right? So that's when they're on stage by themselves. They get choreography from a teacher. They do a solo at competition. That is totally optional. There's an additional fee when it comes to that. You guys are paying for private lessons. You'll be paying for solo entry fees. And again, this has not been an issue for years, but if for some reason somebody were to quit at the studio and they go take their solo somewhere else, you need to get the permission of the teacher. And then in order to own the solo, technically the teacher during that season would own the rights to that solo. And they might decide, oh, I want to give this for somebody else if this person's not at the studio. So just know that. And anything that you guys are seeing in here is because something like this has happened before. And then we always ask they have to really fulfill their team commitment in order to do a solo. And fees must be up to date in order to do a solo and to do the private lessons. I am going to make myself available more for seniors this year, because a lot of the times the seniors are the ones that don't get any of their lessons because we're focusing on like the minis and the juniors and the teen seniors kind of suffer for that. So I'm going to make myself more available. Sam Cantoria, who is a new teacher this year, she's going to make herself available. So even if the solo is choreographed by somebody else, there are going to be people that can be consistent with our teens and seniors so that they feel strong when they get to competition. So I just want to let you guys know that. Outside competitions, if you wanted, like, let's say you went to the family vacation in Arizona, there's a competition there, and your child really wants to perform there. I don't want to see, somehow somebody will send it to me from social media because they know I don't have it. I don't want to see so-and-so on stage at Showstopper Arizona and not know anything about it. It's not for the control of it, you guys. It's for a lot of times there could be traumatic things that happen and kids aren't ready to not have their coach there. So just ask, and I might say, you know what? Yeah, they're totally fine. Kendall Land competed at a convention, and it's a convention I work for. She added it late. There was no way I was going to make it on time. And I'm like, I don't want to add it in. I'm not going to be there for you. This is like your first year or second year doing a solo at MDP. And she was 12 or 13 years old, and she said, Miss Erin, I got this. I am good. And to me, if a teenager says that, then they're advocating for themselves, and they should be able to get out on stage, and she did. And she felt great. And so it's always open to discussion. Now, if there's a 6-year-old, you may say they're not ready, like they're just not ready for that. They need to have a teacher there. And a lot of times teachers will go and or they might be at another competition with another studio and they'll go and they'll make sure that your kid is okay also. So just let me know. Communication for everything. Company fee. Oh, okay. There's a company participation fee for every season. The fees will be added to monthly tuition starting in September, and then it goes through June. Those fees go towards prop fees, faculty pay at competition, faculty travel, hotel rooms, for example. We have so many faculty. I think our hotel rooms for national for $10,000. So that helps to support all of that for the teachers as well. It pays for props, truck rental for props, gas, anything having to do with that, and then any administrative fees associated with company, because this studio basically part of it runs on our recreational program, part of it, which is the tuition, and then all of the extra stuff for company basically runs on those company fees. Studio yearbook. This is something that's really awesome. So we do a yearbook every single year, and it is a yearbook. The kids will get a yearbook picture, and then and that's mandatory. Their yearbook picture is mandatory, and you'll get a digital file of their picture. and then the yearbook itself is optional. So my daughter went to kindergarten for her first year, and I thought, wow, she doesn't need a yearbook. I'm not gonna, I think it was maybe a little more than our yearbook year. I'm like, I'm not doing it. She doesn't care. I picked her up from school. She's stomping up the stairs. Mom, why didn't you give me the book that tells me I have there's a picture of us in it? And I don't have the book. And I'm like, first of all, second of all, why wouldn't I get the book? She's crying, she's so sad. So then I go into the office, I'm like, can we get the book? They're like, you can't get the book. I'm like, what? So now I'm gonna get the book next year. But so get the book. Okay, most of the time I just say get the book. It's a great memory, it's amazing, and it's always a little bit of a tearjerker. It's great. Okay, MDP props. This is not all of them. If you open the door to Studio 5, it gets a little crazy in there. I have 2 storage units, gotta get rid of one at some point in time. We are a prop studio, not really for the teens and seniors anymore, but for the minis and juniors. We'll do anything for the win, you guys. So we asked that parents help 3 times this season. We had dads, moms, we had people help out 10 times this season, right? So it's not a limit to 3, but we ask for help and we do need help. The other thing is I am going to have one of my main prop dads help me next season schedule everything in advance. Always a Thursday loadout, always a Sunday coming back in. I'm like, Dylan's gonna be happy about that. How did you guys unload everything, first of all? Who was with you? Like, what in the world? I was like, what is happening?
And he's making me drinks.
Oh. So probably two dads are needed, but I want to pre-schedule everything. I can't pre-schedule the competitions themselves, but we can pre-schedule who's driving the trucks, who's loading the trucks, who's unloading the trucks. That can all be pre-scheduled. And I think and for me, I'm literally just trying to get the competition schedule done, and then I'm like, okay, who can drive the truck tomorrow, right? So if it's done ahead of time, I think I'll be less stressed. The dads will be less stressed. It'll be great, and it's going to be easier. So season 18, the year of ahead of time. I was so proud. Thank you. It only took me 18 years. It is very hard for me. Okay, so there are people who can't help, or some people just don't want to. So you opt out for $100. It helps go to all of the drinks and the pizza that all the dads drink and eat at nationals, or the pizza that they have throughout the year, or what have you. So if you need to opt out, I understand that. If there is a reason, like some people aren't in contact with somebody who can help, or there's family situation, please let me know, because what's going to happen is you're going to get charged this fee when you go online to fill out your contract, and I will refund you the fee as well as the service. So please just email me and let me know. Or if I already know, don't click that you're opting out. That's also something that you do as well. Yeah, so this whole contract will be online tomorrow, and you'll be able to look at everything that way and fill it out as well. Let's see. Okay, so that's the end of the contract. Tuition, I just included the tuition for this year, you guys. Our little ones are 5, and some of our 6-year-olds will be given a schedule that is not a full schedule. They don't have to do the unlimited, and then if they're just doing tap or they're just doing hip hop, they are not on the unlimited schedule. Anybody else is on the unlimited schedule, so they would take as many classes up to that unlimited rate, if that makes sense. Class requirements. All requirements should be taken each week at MDP. Most dancers 6 years and older. Granted, if they're only on certain teams, this isn't the case, but most of them are taking 9 classes a week. Some of them don't have to take 9 classes a week, but I'm just saying that most of them are taking 9 classes a week because that's what they want to do. And you think that they want to rest, and then they'll be here all day, and then they'll go home and they'll be dancing still, which is amazing and also crazy. But I love it. So company schedules will be emailed out next week after I get through all my tiers. And all dancers will be emailed right here, an individualized schedule classes by July 29th. Please use the emailed schedule to go online and sign up for your classes. you're gonna get it. I need every second, you guys, and I will not sleep, and I will be up. And when I say July 29th, it might be 11:59, but you're getting the schedule. I had it saying July 27th to 29th, but because I want to be on time, it's the 29th. So hopefully that doesn't mean the 31st. The 31st, the website will be open for recreational dancers to sign up for classes, which is why I want to get you guys your schedules earlier, because especially the younger kid classes, those will fill up. And we don't want to get to a point where you guys can't sign up for your classes. I would rather add more classes for our recreational dancers because our company dancers need to be in class together. So that's how that works. I know I'm going too fast. We'll be using Team App. Please don't sign up for it tonight. I need to clear it out from people that have graduated or are not for this next season. Usually every year we just start fresh, we start brand new. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm not gonna delete everybody and then restart over. We're just gonna leave it. I'm gonna delete the people that aren't here and then new people can sign up. But please give it until like tomorrow, you guys, just so that it gives me a second, or I might, if you do it tonight, I just won't approve you until I've done the other part of it, if that makes sense. Important dates that are coming up. Clearly, the parent meeting and team bonding is right now. Company contracts are due. There's a $300 team deposit that goes towards your first competition fees. The first competition fees are due in December. Well, that's Hanukkah, that's Christmas, that's whatever else other holiday there might be. So we want to help offset those costs a little bit, which is what that $300 goes for. So that when December comes, you're like, oh, thank God, I forgot about the $300. So that helps offset the first competition fees. Company dancers online registration, we just talked about that. April 12th, team family party meet and greet. So if you have a big enough property to accommodate and want to host the family party meet and greet, please email me and let me know, because we were trying to do it at Harveston, but they're booked to the end of the year because it's so cheap to do that. So, but if somebody has a backyard that can accommodate, I know, I was like, where's Christy? I already said, I talked to Casey, I said, just do it at Christy. Christy has a farm. I think, Christy, do you have a whole farm? Okay. I love it. So this should be probably a later in the day moment, so that way it's cooler, right? Like it should be, we can talk, but it should be a later in the day moment, I'm assuming. Okay. You have a breeze, not like right now with what we're dealing with this heat, with this stagnant moment. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right. So we do placement audition. What your kids did this weekend or this week, it was to see if everybody is accepted on company. Once they're accepted on company, we don't plan the teams right away. The teams are planned after placement audition. So we give them the month of August to train with each other. Then we place them, and then you guys get your team placement at the end of August. Okay. So that's what's going on. Some of our younger kids, they're not going to need to do the placement. So I just need you guys to give me this next week. When you get your schedules, you will know exactly what the schedule is for the month of August, but hold those days just in case, but you can let go of those days if they're not needed as of, what is it? So July 30th? Yeah, July 30th, July 29th. 29th, when you guys get your schedule. On August 19th, we usually wait to do our company parent meeting and safety meeting. I normally don't do that until like the first competition. I want to do multiple safety meetings this year. I'm not going to go super into detail about it, but one of my very close friends who is an MDP alumni mom, she used to be a supervisor for Child Protective Services in Long Beach. She is recently retired, and basically she is our MDP angel. She advocates for all children. She will teach, I want to teach, and we want to teach all of our parents the signs to look out for when it comes to sexual misconduct, abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse within the dance world. And there are certain things that she can train and teach all of you guys as parents to look out for as parents, and not to scare you, but I will say it, and it does exist. We at the studio have caught, I think, 5 to 7 convicted pedophiles at dance competitions because it's It's not a closed event, but guess what? There could be one at the grocery store standing right next to you. They are everywhere, but if we know the signs to look out for, we can protect our kids. So there's more coming that way, and that's what this safety meeting this initial safety meeting will be about. And we will record it as well, so that way I can send it to you if I can't be there that day. Teams begin the week of September 5th, and then the first costume deposit is due on September 11th. So I'm going to keep going through this. Schedule of classes and placement audition. In addition to the schedule of technique classes, the dancers will also be given placement audition info. Placement auditions for tap will be held on Friday, August 18th. Placement auditions for hip hop will be during the normal dance week, so your kids will already be here. Placement auditions for all other genres will be August 12th and the 19th. Dancers, this is true, dancers will be given detailed information before August 7th. So scratch the 29th, I'm sorry, I did say that. You'll be given it before August 7th on which placement auditions to attend. That way I can just focus on your kids' schedules, and then before the 7th, you'll know which placement auditions they need to go to. This is a sample schedule below. I basically just copied it from last year and changed the dates. That way you guys have an idea. We'll try to stick to this schedule, but it could change a little bit. But for the most part, this is what we've been doing the past few years. And already a typo, I am known for that. Saturday placement auditions at the bottom says will run August 12th and August 20th. That's the 19th, so just know that. I'll change that and resend out this PDF. This competition schedule that you're about to get, for those of you that have not been here before, is going to be very confusing because it's very open-ended. So what I want to say is, the second that your kids get their team placement, you will also know which events they're attending, and it's going to lay it out for you. There's no way you're going to be able to figure out which events they're attending from this schedule. Some of the events are mandatory, some of the events are optional, but it's a mandatory and optional for different people. The only things that are 100% set in stone that is mandatory is, let's see here. The first showstopper made their date way later, so we're trying to do one before that, but the first full studio competition is April 12th to the 14th. And then the second full studio competition is May 9th through the 12th. Those are the two things that you know are set completely in stone. The review pictures are actually set. The review dress rehearsals and shows. This is a week later so that we do not have any conflict with graduation. It was too much this last year. It was kind of all over the place. And I feel like people felt like they were pulled in 12 million different directions, myself included. So it will be a different week. And then, like I said, we would be going into our intensives and camps, company banquet, and then we're hoping to, right after that, go to nationals. That is the goal. That is the idea. So again, you can read through this, you guys, but for most of you, it's not going to make sense, but I just wanted to put it out there so that you had something to go off of, okay? Exciting new things in season 18. Devon, is Dawn in here still? Or did he leave? He left. He's like, I have to run a gym right now. Okay, so Devon, his daughter is Adaya. I might call her Dimples, I don't know, but just the cutest ever on the face of the planet. And her family runs, I don't want to say it wrong, is it Limitless Sports Academy? Okay, and it was like happenstance. Again, I'm not on social media at all. I've been looking for this for over a year. And we're sitting there at auditions, and Adaya comes in, and the teachers are like, her dad runs the gym. And I said, let me see. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is incredible. So it's 3 minutes from the studio. I don't want to speak for him what his credentials are. Do you want to say anything? Yeah. 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 So I'm really excited to kind of, I don't want to say too much because we haven't talked yet, but like I'm excited to kind of partner with him. And at nutrition, that's huge. So many of our older dancers, they're worn out, they're tired. It's a lot for them. They are doing so much. They're doing school, then they have high school dance teams, then they come here, and then they're eating dinner at 10 o'clock at night. So if we can educate our kids at a younger age, as well as our high schoolers now, what foods to fuel their body with, and for our older dancers specifically, put the power in their hands and have a great relationship with food, knowing that a lot of times, if we don't ever want to talk about food in a negative way, because a lot of times the kids will hear if we say something, they might hear, oh, that's going to make me fat, or I can't eat that, or whatever. And I think it needs to come from a person that is trained in nutrition. And so that is something that's coming. Injury prevention, and cross-training athletes to help with stamina, endurance, and more. And basically, a lot of times, if your kids are injured, they're going to go to the doctor. Their general practitioner or whatever, and they're going to say, "Oh, they're hurt. 2 weeks off," and then nothing else happens, and then they never get better from it. So this is something that he can help with, and he can help to rehabilitate dancers. I'm also going to have a PT once a month coming to assess our kids. It's an alumni dad who used to train professional athletes, and he is a PT, and I'm sure a lot of your kids have seen him. But he'll be in here once a month, and I already talked to Devon today, and they're going to talk to each other, and we're going to work it all out to give you guys answers other than rest it for 2 weeks and then come back, and then it's gonna get whatever's going to happen. It's going to get re-injured again. So that's something that's new, and I'm really excited. I already talked about the 4 master classes held from October to February. This I talked about at the end of last season. All of my faculty will be taking multiple training courses throughout season 18. Each course that's completed will be listed on the website so you guys can see what the courses are that we've done. We will be addressing, but not limited to, injury prevention. Like I talked to Devon, I want my whole faculty to go into the gym and learn more about injury prevention, because unfortunately, some of us that are older, growing up dancing and even learning about things, we're not trained as much in injury prevention because injuries were not as prevalent back in the day, and they are huge now because of all the dance genres and all the things that the kids are doing. In addition to that, taking classes on social media, the pros and cons and how it affects our dancers. Nutrition, teaching methods and how they pertain to the success of our dancers' emotional and mental well-being. When I was younger, for example, I was 26 when I opened the studio, and I thought everybody should be taught exactly the same way. But I am sure we all know, especially people who have more than one child, you can speak to this child this way, and this is what they're going to absorb. And you can speak to this child this way, and this is how they're going to absorb. So just kind of different ways to teach, to get your point across to different personalities of children. Meetings for your parents and dancers. I'm not going to say that these are all mandatory meetings because there's going to be some stuff that you guys are not comfortable with. But we will offer classes on sexual misconduct in the dance world and how to talk to your kids about it. A meeting with our new drivers, people who are driving, or not even new drivers, just our high schoolers or kids that are getting ready to drive. How to be safe. One of our alumni mom, that I kind of love saying alumni, Jen Seitel, she is paralyzed from the waist down, and it was due to a car crash. I learned never to say car accident because they're never an accident. They can usually be prevented in some way. So that's something that she taught me. I always say car crash now. But she holds classes and she does talks all over California to like middle schoolers and high schoolers in regards to little choices that we make that can alter the rest of our lives. So she'll be doing that this year. She used to do it every year for us. We haven't done it in about 2 years. The person that I'm bringing into social media for my faculty will also do a class, social media for parents, and how to talk to your kids about the way they see themselves because of social media. That kind of thing. There's positives, there's pros and cons. So if we can figure out how to deal with the cons, which I need to clearly because I don't have social media, and then celebrate the pros, I think we could all be more educated in that as well. How to be a successful dance mom and dance dad. Like there's a lot of things that you're going to run into in this world. How can we educate ourselves to be better for it? And then how to deal with competition in a healthy way. It took me so many years, starting at 26, for probably 5 years at least. I wouldn't at competitions. I couldn't. I would get sick. And this is me as a owner of a studio. my husband would come in and try to give me food, and I would say, I'm gonna throw up if you give me that food. Or awards would happen. And those of you that are here, except for Monique, I don't think were here back then. And I would stand outside of the room at awards because I didn't want to listen, but I also wanted to listen because I didn't want anything bad to happen. Like, how weird is that? It's like it sounds a little like psycho, but we have no control over the scores that are given to our kids. Unfortunately, this is not the reason why dance, I don't think, is considered a sport is because there is no crossing the finish line. There is no referee saying this, you can't do this. It's kind of anything goes and it's based off of opinion. That's very hard to deal with as a parent, as a studio owner, and as a dancer. Essentially, there are elements your kids need to know, and there's going to be things they're better at and things that they're not as good at. But we can all train ourselves on how to deal with that. And I don't want it to take everybody 5 to 10 years the way it took me to learn how to deal with failure, which I don't consider losing a failure anymore, but I did back then. So just so you know, so I'm kind of excited for all these things. Success wall. This is actually a suggestion from one of our now alumni parents that we have so many dancers that are working in the professional world of dance or working with children in some regard, or have graduated school for dance or whatever, what have you, but nobody knows about it. So he came up with an idea of that front wall having like little plates, like little gold plates, like so-and-so this year graduated from MDP this year, this is what they're doing with their degree. So, or with their talent or with their artistry, whatever, what have you. But something that my husband always said to me, and it's funny, he said that one of the coaches, he coaches basketball, said to him is, what do you want the end result to be? What's the end result? Okay, it doesn't have to be just dance, you guys. Like I'm not just gonna put dance stuff up on the wall. Some of these amazing dancers are now, what is Kylie doing? Well, she is a dancer still. She's dancing for the Rams, right? But what is she doing she's doing injury. She's a PT now, right? Yeah. So, and Alana just graduated from college, and all of these kids are going into now that are now adults are going into these successful things that they're doing, and they're not always related to dance, but I do think you can relate it back to dance, and I think it's important to recognize that. So I'm super excited about that, and I'll probably have you help me out with this, Monique, doing something of bringing I know you're gonna do it. She's like, bye. She doesn't talk to anybody really. It's not that she's being this, it's keeps to herself, and it's been 18 years. But I want to do it where all the alumni can come back, and there'll be a little place in that plate. And they can sign their plate though. Isn't it so cute? Okay, great. Putting that off, delegating. One thing gone. Okay. So that means it's actually gonna happen. Okay, and then the next thing, you guys, is just a letter from me. I don't need to read through the whole thing. You guys can read through it, but it's just kind of like my commitment as a studio owner, what we want to do here. The studio now is going into our 18th season, 18th year. That's got to count for something. We opened the studio when the market in 2006, I think that's when the housing market completely crashed. And I remember starting the studio being like, there is no way that these doors are going to stay in 1 month from now. And then, then we're good. Everything happens. Then COVID happens. I'm like, how is this going to happen? We're still here. I do believe that has to attest to something. And it's not always going to be great. It's not always going to be perfect, but we are always evolving. And that is something for me, somebody who I don't love change, but I also know that change is essential to evolve. And just because I've been doing this long doesn't mean I know everything. And that means we are always going to evolve, and we are always going to be better, and we are going to learn from whatever mistakes or whatever misfortunes may happen. We will continue to grow and to continue to rise from that as long as we are constantly evolving. So just read through that. And then, like I said, that's a lot of information, but I'll be sitting here. You guys can ask me any questions that you want. And a lot of people, like any of my alumni parents veteran parents that want to sit in or answer questions, feel free. And you can email me, but I will not look at anything until July 31st. You guys, I can't. I have to get the schedule done. So, and then also, I have to be a mom. I haven't had a day off. Those of you that went to Vegas for Velocity or Hollywood Vibe, and then we had Nationals, and then we had whatever, and we had Review. I don't know that any of us have had a day off for over 4 weeks. So I'm just asking for 3 days with my family. I got to see my daughter. She woke up this morning with her eyes still closed, with her arms out like this. She's not a hugger, and she's like, I miss you. And I'm like, I miss you too. So I need to be there and I need to be present for her. And then on Monday, it's gonna be like this. And I'm gonna be yelling and screaming and crying. I'm gonna put her in camp so she doesn't know I'm not being a good mom. 9 to 3, it's gonna be good. So I'm here right now. Ask me any questions that you want. Please know that this is a lot of information, but it seems very detailed, but it's amazing. This studio is truly incredible. I love your kids to the core, and the relationship that they've given me over the years has truly changed who I am as a student. So for those of you that are veteran parents now and or have been your veteran parents forever, thank you. And new parents, you'll see how it is. Every year we dedicate the year to our graduating seniors, and we have 10 graduating seniors this year. And it is truly incredible to watch their journey throughout the year. And we will put their pictures up on the wall. We do a banquet every year and dedicate it to our graduating seniors, whether it's their first year or their 10th year. The whole goal is to make them feel special and know that they always have home here. And I will tell you, I would like to know the percentage. I would say after 17 years of owning the studio, I still think, I know for a fact that over half, I'm still in contact with over half of my graduating seniors, which is so crazy to me. That now, like I have one that is 37 years old. I'm like, how can I teach you? I'm gonna be on 40, I don't know. Literally have no idea. Doesn't matter. I'm not, I could be a grandparent. That's all that matters too. But I have a 6-year-old. So anyways, it is truly incredible. And like Holy, this is only her 2nd year and she just graduated. And I'm so excited that Levi gets here to be so you, Brandy. And but in just having Holy for this was her 2nd year was her graduating senior year. I know in my heart, like I will know her forever. Like it is so crazy how close we get with these kids because we are with them all the time, and this is always going to be their home, always and forever. So that's it. That's all, guys. I'll be right here if you need anything. Okay. Just email that to email right now. I'm gonna probably have a better way to do it, but you don't have to email right now. So that I can. Then you're gonna say, I want this feeling. Yeah. Okay. And well, yeah, do it. You can use it in the photo in the house. I do, like I said, I split it. So that's it. Whatever. I still don't want to use house anything. Hi.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand like the new way of things. So, is it safe to say if I have 2 kids completely different ages and that everything do you know what I mean? Because it's like for some people they
Yeah,
to everything. Okay.
Because so that first one, like
Yeah.
the only I cut out
So okay, that's what I said. It's something you can bring your everything.
Yeah.
At least so just
So, but it's only one more.
And
We have 4 retailers in here, and I said,
good. But I like that you said for sure if I'm at a convention, I can have to.
okay, we're not starting it anymore.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to.
yeah,
I was like,
how are they gonna be ready if you don't have them?
I took her thinking like, oh, look at this.
And we're gonna do like the last week from spring to November to be optional. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, okay. All right, I just wanted to know that.
Cut out for the week.
So it'll be around the same. So I was like, wait.
No, it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be one.
Okay.
It'll be around the same, if not less.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you back Mother's Day
Okay.
to Hawaii. Okay. So it's gonna let her pick your personal
Yeah.
preview, Father's Day. Now this.
But is that just a week before the review? Like, when you don't have nothing to do?
Well, yeah, so that's what I'm asking, because originally with the normal schedule, it's the day after review, plan, we have a plan.
So, can you be done for the review?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm asking from June 2nd to June 19th. Is it just happening in there? So if we book something during that time frame, the review
Will only be,
she'll be here for review.
I don't want to say like. Want everything for me, but, so we're gonna be down to the south. You're not gonna go that way.
No, we're not. No, and it's only gonna be like 4 days, but it's now changed. Right, I need to make sure that she's okay. Okay, and I'll email when we book, just so you know, she'll go through this in some classes.
Okay.
4 days or whatever.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
That's not a deal.
And two questions.
Yeah.
One is, you're sending me out so we can review schedule stuff.
Yeah.
Activity that's coming. Okay, second question is, how do deposits are now $100? Is that for every single one? So that will be.
No. It will not be.
Okay.
It goes from
First one.
first 100 and then it'll probably go down. But I think it, this year, we had, combination of, remember, you can people be in it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm still paying.
so I think it needs to be.
Okay.
Separated.
Okay.
It'll be 75, then it'll be
75.
75.
Okay, so
Or,
we all have.
or
it
100,
separate.
75, 50, and 50.
50,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So no.
Just first, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. I think my not have the answer, but see if I just needed, if I seem to book a vacation in July, like after, say, our normal, what shows up would be?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I don't book anything like too crazy, okay,
Absolutely.
and then if anything I told you, I'm here.
Right.
So just
I
like a
think
big
it's
check.
great.
I'm here, tell me, I mean, even if
For the answer.
it's some stuff, whatever, you just text me, you know, if you're.
I am definitely 100% yes.
Okay.
But I might have. Yeah, not always. You're not gonna suffer all anymore.
He's just from as
Okay.
so like he's like, hey, can we sit down and talk tomorrow? And he'll be like, hey, can you do this and this? I just do as needed.
Okay.
So, but I'm 100% jumping on.
Okay, like
Whatever.
Because I have no idea in that.
Yeah.
He loves that. If I, everybody would be.
Got it.
So I can take that. Perfect. And then it's a little more in-house. Too. But you better understand that.
Yeah.
And she never really understood that. That is. I think it's either.
Yeah, let me know. And then, like I said, even just if like, are you obviously gonna stoning and. But costumes, like if she needs more help with.
Yeah.
The store rock and like that, I would like to
Okay.
help too.
Love that.
Yeah,
You email me all
like
that?
shopping, yeah.
Great.
So,
Love it. Like right there. Yeah, so what would you do? In one, I just brought this, but I'll show you out there. Once a month. Doing, and allow me. once. You know, and then not waiting for, you know, okay. Maybe if we- yeah. Yeah, so we're just trying to figure out. Other side of it. Yeah. They don't. Yeah. And then also. That is important. So just shooting it on. Hi.
So if they're on team at school, do you need to know ahead of time?
I'm gonna
for
do,
scheduling?
yes, so I'm gonna do, well,
I just wanna make sure.
yes, what school does she go to?
This,
We have a lot of this.
yes.
Yeah, so we end up having a high school, we have two things, we have a high school dancer and parent meeting together.
Okay.
And then we give them time to like file their schedule. As far as the practice times go, I'll
Yeah.
already have all of that information.
Okay,
But we'll sit down and we just have a meeting all together, talk about communication, how the kids
Right.
have to do themselves,
okay,
make sure everything's good to go, and we set one person for table, like the employees. So, it usually works out, it's usually good, and then we'll also do a graduating senior parent moment, because like last year we did that brunch. We did standing brunch, and they get to be in the house, we want to do like a spa day,
yeah,
so we wanted to really like, special night.
Right. okay,
So, that maybe in one. So,
Right.
But as
Okay.
far as practice, I have,
okay.
and then I won't do the full.
Like for games, we have days, and then some break.
She's JV.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
maybe captain, but she's dancing.
Okay, got it.
So,
That's what, can you just email me that?
Yeah.
I wanna make sure,
yeah,
I wanna make sure that I know
and I
all
know
of
she's
this.
not the only one, there's like maybe teams that are here.
Okay, maybe you can have Belle email me, she's really good at.
Yeah.
Have Belle email me, who
Okay.
the JV, varsity
Yeah,
dancers are, and their practice times and days, and then usually eight.
yeah, practice is during school, there's usually
Okay.
not any
Okay,
practice. but
I just wanna make sure I don't put
Yeah,
a ton of like teams for them on a day that they're always. out there.
right.
So, awesome, I'm so excited. Hi, and you're not.
Yes.
Erin, good to meet you. I saw you in the lobby and I'm like, he doesn't like you. Yeah. And it was weird, we were like. I feel like.
Guys, we're so welcoming and it's just.
I'm like, she's not.
She's not, and I know it's just. Yeah. So I. Like, it's what I mean. That's, then you can kind of figure out your baby.
People are.
It's the nature.
Yeah. Maybe that's the one we were, process. Yeah. You're out of here.
Yeah.
You're the student, you know, and all of it just be happening. And then. Yeah.
Like, maybe it's.
Well, we always. No, we can.
And your mom is asking about the name.
Okay.
Oh, really? Yeah. We were sure that, like, you know, she wants to be.
All right, ready, sister?
Yeah.
And he'll be. Yeah, I talked to her.
Okay, then that's true.
Yeah.
So that was my whole thing that we had to.
Once we code, so the initial. That we still out for, but then, once we have all of these. And we know what it is. Then I'll say, oh. You don't know. Or it's when that's going on. It's when.
And since I won. Yeah, so we just go ahead. So even if.
Yeah, you can still get it, absolutely, and then that is where they're. So we did it, this weekend last year.
Yeah.
And then it was like, about it, we just don't have cheating, even if we had, so I'm not. That. Are non. And I don't want that.
Never
So, yeah, no, I know, but it's like other things, yeah, so when you put a title on it, it's separate. Right, so, so he'll still be able to sell all of that. And we don't know. But. But we, we are there. Taking notes.
And then you never actually mentioned the whole thing.
We're not gonna.
Okay. And then how often do you
I
work every other weekend.
not, it's not super like. It
Works more
it
people.
looks like a lot. No, not even much. Once you go to, it's not really a lot at all. Oh, and so it's just to get, it's good. Making sure like our team, you know, like we want to do all the.
And that's why we want.
I don't want to take literally. When you, about 4 hours on the holiday. When they come in there.
I've seen the most of those.
But like,
And then.
but yeah, no, wait, you said for Friday, they were on board last week. Oh, excellent. I sent out like a big team list of what it'll be, it's going to look for the team members, and we just like give teams, but like we have 2 extra levels for doing that.
Oh, okay.
It's not,
And then said, don't look at this competition schedule.
Yeah.
So we won't know until we.
yeah, but I'll have that set, and it'll be out.
And then. Certificate of school.
Yes.
Year.
Yeah. Okay.
They're on the high school. They get out.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So
We'll have to, but it's okay, we'll figure it.
Okay, as long as you guys know.
Yeah, we need to revamp the schedule, so will you send me an email with a safe time range here? Like, I don't want to have any.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
Together.
I had to like, you know, he was just having a feed and it's getting through that.
Right. So if you can send me that, then I'm gonna have to cater his schedule to that.
Okay,
So he'll probably get here first. Is the second class, he's not gonna be here first class.
are the team classes ever the first classes or they're usually?
No, I think the only time it was like that is my really large group, which we might be on, but I'll take. Okay. It is if I want to.
And then we can do it, we could just have them come in for private signature.
Yeah, okay, no, but, well, you might be able to find it, yeah, I think you might be able to find it. Like, let's say. But let's say it's, I don't know, chat, it's within the year. If we found it on 1 or 2 days, so either. We'll make it work. It's an email me. I don't want to.
Yeah, we were always.
I always felt that.
He's always like running late and then he actually was. I remember that one.
And then they went down the stuff like a 3:45.
Yeah, and his, like.
What is the same time?
Probably on, or 4:15 is safe.
Okay.
4 o'clock is really pushing it. Yeah, like we're really
Okay.
pushing it. He's speeding.
Yeah. Everybody is into my car. There's so many.
We're like in Rich Valley, so
Yeah.
it's just getting through that.
Guys, I grew up on.
The business area.
It's 5 minutes. Together now. Yeah.
You're thinking, freaking every block has a stoplight. Like, what is that? Like,
I swear, I live in San Diego.
yeah, we're from San Diego.
It took me 45 minutes. Because I live right off of the freeway, like 50 minutes. I live where Qualcomm Stadium.
Yeah, yeah.
And